Oh, that's weird. Now I can't see you.
Really?
Yeah, hang on a sec. I just got to get back to it, I guess. Hang on 1 second. That's weird. I don't know what I did. I can hear you, but I can't see you.
All good.
I'm trying to find where the site that it's open to right now. That's not it.
We are live. No one's watching yet, but we can hear and see you. That is for sure.
Okay, give me 1 second. I'll get back there.
Hello? Hey, I'm on a live call right now, so everything work out? All right, bye. Bye. Yo, what up, everybody? Welcome to today's live training. Fired up for you guys. Always, if you could do me the favor, make sure you're telling me your name in the comments below, what market you are real estate investing in, and the level of experience that you have. That would be great. Wrapping up a couple quick text messages.
Oh, there we go.
All right. Again, in the comments below, let me know your name, the market you are investing in, as well as your level of experience. And we are going to get started. Obviously, you guys, we have a very special guest, a good friend of mine for the last probably, 6, 7 years now at this point.
This has probably been longer than that, but don't tell them.
Yeah. And I want to have a very fun conversation today, guys. This isn't going to necessarily be about how to pull a list from PropStream, but this is really about how to not only get good credit, what to do with credit, how to utilize credit, and how important that is for real estate investors and entrepreneurs as a whole. Anthony, I'll let you kind of do your background story about this, but one thing I know to be true, most people undervalue the power of credit. And, as someone who literally lost all of my credit ability when my home went to foreclosure, the repo man took my car. I walked away from American Express with a $40,000 credit line on it. I lost all of my credit. And while I made it through that, I would never want anyone to go through that. And I also want people to understand how to leverage credit in a much better way, how that leveraging of credit, not consumer debt, right? I don't want you going out and buying watches like this or Range Rovers and Maseratis. I'm talking about how to leverage it within your business to build, whether it's your empire or to build wealth through rental properties, whatever that may be. I brought on what I consider the foremost expert with credit. In fact, he calls himself the credit expert. But I've been, he helped me regain my credit back. He helped me. Now I have 24 credit cards. I don't know, $150,000 worth of available credit that I could use. He helped me. He's the one that helped me get back on track. And while this doesn't have to be about how to repair credit, it can be. Really what I wanted him and I to have a fun conversation about credit, the power of credit, why it's important, why business owners really need to value it, and how Dave Ramsey is an absolute idiot. Because when I had zero credit, it made my life miserable. I couldn't do anything, right? And so Anthony, thank you very much for spending some time. You and I are going to do a lot more together because this is how much I believe in the power of credit, and my audience needs to understand how to use credit, how to better their credit, how to improve their credit ability right within their businesses, and then ultimately what that does for them. So first of all, give everyone kind of a little introduction on what you got cooking in terms of your history.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no, it's great to be here. And obviously we all need to hear this because like I've said many times is they don't print flyers or pamphlets. You don't see late night commercials. You don't see any brochures at the bank when you walk in there, get a loan or anything like that on credit, how to fix your credit or what's up with your credit or, what's going on in the industry. So my background was, I kind of got into this a little backwards. I was actually flipping houses first, then started doing mortgage loans, and then got into the whole credit repair space is how it went. And by doing that, I learned a lot along the way because I met some guys in California when I first moved there. And I was like, hey, what are you guys doing? You're flipping houses and making 50 grand, 100 grand. Like, what's going on a weekend? I want to get in on this, And so I got in on it a little bit and was making some money. And then They're talking about helping people out with mortgage loans. Hey, come work at this mortgage company. Okay, let's do that. Let's do mortgage loans. And we're making a bunch of money and having fun, and everything. And then boom, it all comes crashing down. Now, I started my credit operation long before this, the crash of 08, but that's when it really started taking off after that, of 2009, whatever it was, when all the whole mortgage collapse happened. And every loan officer that was sending their clients to me was out of business, in jail, who knows what they were doing. All kinds of stuff was going on. And the fun came to an abrupt end for a lot of people, including myself, because, I was flipping houses and hanging on to it, thinking that, we were in a nice little bubble and nothing was going to happen too drastic. I moved from California, though, to Austin. I kind of got out of Dodge and thinking, okay, it's going to come crashing down. And I heard in California and Florida, but I thought I was in another bubble in Austin, Texas, because everybody was moving there and it was booming and we were selling houses like crazy and stuff. And then sure enough, it all came crashing down there. So my score went from a 740 to a 500 in about 6 months myself. So been there, done it, got the t-shirt, burnt it, and wrote home to mom and told her about it. So that's my background.
Yeah. And so one of the things that I think everyone that's watching, and again, if you just jumped on, give me your name, the market you're investing in, and your level of experience. I'd love to hear from you guys. What's up, John McNeil? Always good having you on. I want to, kind of get this conversation started, right? That's what today's really about, is to help people understand, like, without credit, you really limit yourself. Let me give you a great example of something super superficial, by the way, but really shows you the value of credit. If I didn't have good credit, I wouldn't have, well, I don't know where it went, but I wouldn't have the American Express Platinum card. Why is that important, Justin? Who gives a crap? Well, because that Platinum card, based around how they do their points, allowed me to take 5 nights in Maui at the Four Seasons for free. I didn't have to spend $1 in terms of the cost per room. Now they have their resort fees I couldn't get away from, and they have their valet parking I couldn't get away from. And every time I ate anything, it was $100. I couldn't get away from that fun. But essentially, I spent roughly $15,000 at a resort that I didn't have to spend any money because I had the ability to get a Platinum American Express card. So some of this, yes, sounds superficial. And no, that is not why you need an American Express card. But what I will tell you is having good credit can help you live the life you actually want to live, especially knowing how to work the system in points and all that other kind of stuff, that you can actually live the life that you want to live versus that you think you can afford to live. And I'll tell you, you and me, Anthony, dude, we did the only thing we can afford to pay is in cash because we have no credit, right? No credit cards. You did it. I did it. And I think there's a lot of listeners here, a lot of people probably watching that are like, man, I don't have great credit, or I would love to be able to build business credit. How do I even do that, right? Like I got my LLC going. Justin, you're coaching me on how to wholesale homes or flip homes or buy rentals. But how do I build business credit? And it's something people don't value enough, right? Like, and there's strategy to this. So this conversation for you and me is fun to be able to kind of connect again and give back to everybody. But we're going to do a lot of this because the reality is most people on here, Anthony, why don't you tell me this? What do you think is one of the, most popular, and I say popular in the sense of like, what do you think the most people think about credit? Or what is what am I trying to say? Like, I think people don't value this enough. And what are they thinking? Like when you are helping someone either repair their credit or you're helping them build credit, like what is the most common thought process people go through that aren't where they want to be? Like, what do you hear? What is the challenge that is the most common?
Well, I think twofold. One is that they think, credit is just pay my bills on time. I pay my power bill, pay my gas bill, I pay my, cell phone bill. I pay all these bills on time. Guess what? None of those bills appear on your credit report until you go late or don't pay them. Then it goes on your credit report. So none of those paying your bills thing helps paying your credit cards does, car loans, mortgages, things like that. But they just think that if that's what I do, and even if I had a late or something, if I got it, I took care of it, it's okay. My credit's good enough. There's all kinds of things there. The biggest thing I like what you said at the beginning too, was that we're not focused, or I don't want to just focus just on the small thing of getting their credit fixed to help them with this one little purchase or something like that. But the bigger picture is if we can teach people how to leverage their credit to build wealth or to just have fun, like you were doing. Have fun, have some freedom. I'm down here in the Dominican Republic right now. I'm looking outside. It's 85 degrees. It's sunny. I can go to the beach anytime. I can go zip lining. I can go dune buggy. I can go horseback riding, go surfing. Mine's about time, having the freedom to do what I want. Well, unfortunately, we just live in a world that revolves around money. And if you look at my page, Anthony Credit Expert, on my website or my Facebook page, I have it right on the top in my cover photo says, today your credit scores will dictate your financial future. And people don't think about that. So it's what they think about, what they perceive, and what they don't know. And then what they do is they also relate it to finances. Like I said, paying your bills on time, or how it works around money, or what you got in your bank account, or the fact that I have a $100 credit card, but I pay it off every month. Well, that's not good enough to build your credit profile to build wealth. So you can have, I always joke with the ladies, I said, you can have a Victoria's Secret card all day long and have an 800 credit score, but you're not going to get any new credit. Nobody's going to help you with that. So it's not about the credit score too. It's also about building your credit profile, which is another thing that we coach people on. So there's a lot of little facets to this whole thing and how that all meshes together. And it's just like, you got to go through step A, B, C, D down the way. But yeah, that's some of the biggest things that people have misconception on.
The credit profile part is really, really important, right? Everyone wants to talk about their FICO score, and that's what Dave Ramsey, I'm so in disagreement with Dave Ramsey. Now he's able to sell to people that don't have credit, right? Like, that's his audience. I get it. But the reality is, for those of you watching me and following me and are a part of my world of the science of flipping and Justin Colby in real estate, you need credit. So stop being crazy about this, right? Like, when I lost my credit, because, by the way, I didn't even lose it. I just had like a negative credit score, right? So I still had a credit score. It was just negative. The very worst thing you can actually do is have a 0 credit score. Like, if you have no credit score, you're in harm's way in a big way, right? And it's because in what was the term that you just used? Credit profile. You won't, like, to your point, if you have an 800 credit score, but you have no credit cards, you have no loans out, you don't have a profile, so people aren't going to lend to you.
That's right.
People ask me all the time, how do I start buying rentals, Justin? Well, first of all, unless you are inherently wealthy, which none of us are, you're going to have to get a loan at some level. Can you use private money? Can you use hard money? Absolutely. But nowadays, even hard money is asking for credit. It might be a soft pull, but they're looking at it, right? Like, I use Lima One Capital. They're a hard money lender. It's 5% interest, 30-year loans. They're a hard money lender. They're not a bank, right? They do a credit pull, though. They still do a credit pull. And if I didn't have a good credit profile, I would not be buying the amount of rentals I am today because of that. They are still asset-based. They are still lending based around the asset. But they still had to initially pull my credit report to see what my credit profile looked like, right? And I think that's a large part of the audience that you and I are going to start to speak to on a consistent basis about this. Like, understand your credit profile and start to build it, right? Like, what would be like a really good, I remember when I lost everything, right? You were like, all right, dude, it's not going to be fun. It's going to take some time. But the first thing you need to do is go get some paid credit cards, right? Where essentially I'm paying to have the credit card.
Secured cards,
right?
You have to give them the money.
That's an easy way to start building your credit profile. I think literally every month I'd give the credit card, whatever credit card company was, $250. And I'd use it and give it to them again, right? But most people think credit is bad. And it's because Dave Ramsey's done a brilliant job.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Because he's just going after the masses of people that are in debt, that have, they just live paycheck to paycheck, and they're not focused on, it's just about getting out of debt. It's helping people, get out of debt, cut up your credit cards because you're just irresponsible, and just pay cash for everything, use your debit cards, all that kind of stuff, which is the exact opposite of everything that I teach. Like you said, you want to have credit cards. And I tell people, even if you're irresponsible, hook it up to your car insurance on one card, take this one, hook it up to your gym membership, cut up the cards and throw them in the trash. And now you're building credit and you're not even doing it yourself. So, I can take, the idiot of all idiots of irresponsibility to the guy who's, 7 figures, and teach him how to continue to build wealth that way. I tell people it's like running a marathon. We're all running this marathon called life. We're all trying to build things. We're all trying to get ahead in life. The problem is you're running a marathon and you got a ball and chain around your ankle. Some people have a little 2-pound ball. Some people have a 5-pound or a 10-pound or 20-pound. Some of them had a ball and chain around both ankles, and they're having a hard time running this marathon. So the cool thing is I can get everybody to a 750, 800 credit score. It's just going to take this guy, a few months, going to take this guy a year, going to take this guy 3 or 4 years. But we can all get on that road. It's like you said, just get on the road, start doing it, start working towards it. But you need to start building your credit profile, even your personal credit, before you can get business credit. They won't even give you business credit. If you have none and you say, well, no problem, I'll just go get business credit because my personal credit sucks. Well, guess what? They're not going to give you business credit because your personal credit sucks. The days of just, having an LLC and getting a business loan and then, file bankruptcy, go get another LLC, run it all up, file bankruptcy, those days are over. They're making people sign as a personal guarantor against that loan. And they're checking your personal credit to get those business loans, to get that business credit established, to even start your business, to get a security clearance, to get licensed, to get bonded, to get a job nowadays. The employers are checking your credit. So it's all part of everything we do. Your auto insurance rates, your health insurance rates, your life insurance rates, everything revolves around your credit score nowadays, your credit profile, credit score.
Yeah, and it's funny because I just recently bought a home in Miami, Florida. And listen, it's $1 million+ home. And I only bring that up to say, like, if I didn't have an 820 credit score, I probably could have paid for it still, but I'd have to put way more money down. So then you start thinking about, like, okay, so my credit score being 820, and it probably took a hit now that I have this huge loan on it, and that's all good. That's part of this game, right? You're gonna get loans. It's gonna take a hit. You're gonna apply for this, but then you can continue to build it by paying those loans on time, right? Then you start talking about the financial impact of, like, all that cash. Like, let's just say that I would have had to come out 30% down on this house if I had a 680 credit score, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's still not even a bad credit score, but, like, now they want an extra 10% down on the house, on $1 million+ house, right?
Yeah.
Whatever that number is, let's call it another $150,000. Like, what could I be doing with that cash?
Exactly.
Instead of letting it sit in the home, what type of opportunities am I missing? What kind of flips could I be doing? What kind of businesses could I be starting? What kind of rentals could I be buying to help subsidize the income I need to pay for that mortgage? Dude, the credit score starts this whole trick.
How entrepreneurs think, that's how investors think, that's how everyone should think. Even if you're thinking at a small scale, if you want to just make an extra 50 grand this year, or 100 grand, or $1 million, it's all the same steps.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if you're a janitor making 20 grand a year, or you're the CEO making 20 million a year. It's still the same steps that everybody has to go through. So that's the good news. That's why we have clients from all walks of life and everything that they're doing, because it's the same steps, the same process all the way through.
Yeah. And listen, at the end of the day, I think this is just such a misconstrued idea, right? And again, back to Dave Ramsey, he's done a brilliant job marketing, but people can't afford my coaching, which is insane to me, right? Like, my coaching is relatively free, right? Like $6,400 for me to teach you on how to learn to make 250 grand for the rest of your life, forever, right? But then you're like, okay, well, why don't you leverage your credit cards so you can get, and people are like, well, I don't have credit cards. And it's just, why don't you have credit cards? Like, I've also eaten shit. Home foreclosed on, repo man took the car, walked away from 40 grand on American Express. I get it. Mm-hmm. But why don't you have any credit cards? I mean, that is something that is just mind-boggling to me. And credit will be the future, right? Like, everything is going virtual. So I just don't understand how people can't have that. I mean, what would be another really big misconception or challenge mentally that people that you see, that people that you work with, that when they think of credit, like, do they just think it's bad? Like, is that just the overarching thought here?
Yeah, I mean, depends. We don't, certain clientele that we won't deal with. I mean, I won't deal with credit criminals that are just trying to rack up their bills and not pay anything and, have me come and fix it. And then they start over again. So like, we don't just deal with people like that. But I think the biggest thing is not so much they're just scared of credit or bad credit, unless they're maybe, some old school people that are in their 50s, 60s, 70s years old. And they're like, cash is king and you pay cash for everything. And it's like you said, the world has changed.
Yeah.
So it's not even just, like I said, also, it's not about financial aspects of things. It's getting a job. So if you're working a job and you want to get a better job, they're going to run your credit. They might not take you. So even something like that. But the biggest thing I think that what we're running into is just showing people that what they thought was on their credit report or how they thought the credit bureaus. First of all, the credit bureaus, we're out here slamming Ramsey and stuff. We'll slam the credit bureaus too then, because the credit bureaus are a for-profit company. They make $300 billion a year selling our data out there to everybody. So the credit bureaus don't hold your credit score. All they have is that's a reporting center that they fish and get your information out there, and then they sell it. Like you go to Lowe's and you buy a new refrigerator for that new $1 million house you're going to get, and all of a sudden a week later you got 5 warranty offers in the mail. You're like, how did everybody know I went to Lowe's and got a new refrigerator? Because your data is being sold all the time. So these are not nonprofit agencies, or they're not government agencies that are there to help you. The whole system, and we could get off on a whole tangent there, and we won't. The whole banking system and everything else is designed, to ride on the backs of the middle class people, to keep them uneducated to these things, so that they can become, self-employed and entrepreneurs and make money. I mean, you can still have a full-time job and you can still be making an extra $100,000. You can make more money on the side, whether it's your Forex account or your Amazon account or your whatever account you're doing, and still working a full-time job, making 40 grand a year. So that's the thing, like you and I are teaching people and helping to open their eyes. And that's what happens when the light bulb goes on, and that's what I tell people. I say, listen, if you gave me, and this is just a round number of some of the things that I charge for, but let's say someone gave me, if I said to you, Justin, if you give me $200 a month or $100 a month, doesn't matter what the number is really. If you give me that number for the next 6 months, so you give me $200 a month for 6 months, that's $1,200. And then at the end of 6 months, I'm not only going to just give you your $200 a month back for the next 6 months, so you get your money back. I'm going to give you $200 a month for the rest of your life.
I would do it. Why wouldn't anyone do that?
Yeah, I get the one guy that says, what's the catch out of 100, right? What's the catch? The catch is that's what happens when you can either fix your credit or build your credit, have a strong credit profile and score, because now you can get loans at cheaper rates. You can now get those credit cards that have the cash. Like I love the cash back rewards. Maybe you're a frequent flyer and you fly on the same airline all the time. That's not me. I'm not that kind of guy. I like the cash. I like money, so it's like I go out and use my cards for a pack of gum, for a loaf of bread, for gas in the car, whatever it is, to use those credit cards. So then I get those cash back rewards, and all of a sudden now I'm making, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a year off the credit card companies, and yet people like you said, even getting started in credit, it's like, well, I was going to get a credit card again, but I checked it out and the interest rate is like 19.9% right now. And I say, am I too loud? Am I waking the baby or something?
The baby just came home from a long day of shopping at Disney World or wherever they were. So I got to move into the bedroom. No, you're not too loud. No, I didn't know they were coming.
I'm getting excited. Anyways, what was I? Now I lost my train of thought. Okay, so getting cash back rewards and all this stuff, because now getting a credit card for 19.9% interest rate, you got to get started again. Like you said, when we tanked, we had to start again. We're like, well, wait a minute, this card wants to charge me $75 annual fee plus another 19.9 or even 29%. And I tell people, I go, listen, I don't care if the card's 99% interest, because if you follow my rules and you're paying your card off every month, you're not charging anything else. You're using it like a debit card in the sense that you're not charging anything more that you don't have the money to pay for. You don't have the money to pay. That's where people go wrong, right? They just charge more than they can't afford it. But if they can afford to pay that card off every month, then use it. Now you paid 0% interest, even though the interest rate is 30% interest. Who cares? You paid 0% interest, and you got cash back rewards or points or air miles or Chase Platinum points where you can now go use it. My wife got stuck in Miami. Speaking about Miami, she was coming back from, I don't even know where she was coming back from, but her flight got delayed, and so they couldn't get on the next flight. So she had to stay over at a hotel in Miami, and thank goodness she had booked her flight with her Chase, whatever card it is, I can't remember, but she had rewards on there, but there was a clause there, some kind of insurance that if you buy airline tickets with this card, and now your flight's changed or delayed for whatever reason, we'll give you $500 towards it. So instead of her going and staying at the Holiday Inn for $100 a night, she went and stayed over here for $300 a night right? And she went to, then they said, you can go to Walgreens to get a new toothbrush, like go get some cosmetics, whatever you need, because we know you got to go out if you got to buy a t-shirt, so she, boom, ran up $500, put in the claim to Chase, and they paid for it,
Right.
It's a reward, it's a benefit. So why not use this stuff? It's all around us, but the education is not out there because they don't want you to know it.
Yeah.
So that's where guys like you and I come in to teach people these things.
Yeah. This is an exciting subject, hopefully, for everyone watching this. I know it's the middle of the day on a Tuesday with very little notice, but listen, guys, I'm going to have Anthony on a lot more in terms of someone that I want to be a resource for you guys, because he helped me rebuild my credit. He helped me build business credit. I mean, he's helped me drastically. And one thing I always want to be able to do is give you guys the same opportunity I've had, right? Give you resources that I have. And so he's going to be on because I know most of you are starting in wholesaling or you're active real estate investors. You're trying to figure it all out. Well, one component of this as you grow is credit, right? And to the point of, like, if you have good credit and you have a lot of equity in your house, you can pull out a HELOC or a second line of loan, and then you can go buy rentals. But you can only do that if you have good credit, right? So there's so many reasons you need to have good credit in this world. And so I'm going to have Anthony on a lot more just to help you guys, whether it's, again, repairing your credit for some of you might be the reason, or building credit and building the credit profile that you really want. And so with that said, bro, where can everyone find you? Like, what website can they go to? Where can they find you and see if you can help them, whatever need they have?
Yeah, I've got three different ones we can look at. You can go to yourcreditblueprint.com. It's a good one to start with. Also, just my direct site is anthonycreditexpert.com. And I don't just say that to toot my horn because I'm proud and want to be the expert. It's just I've been at this now for almost 17 years, I think 16 and a half years. And I've done all the legwork. I've figured this whole thing out so that people don't have to go and Google it around and figure it out. So anthonycreditexpert.com is probably the best place to go. If they need their credit fixed, they can go to my other site, acecreditrestoration.com. These are all links. These are all tied together, so they'll find me. You can find me on Facebook there with my name there, obviously. And request a free consultation. It's free, and you'll get on with one of my credit coaches, and they'll look at your tri-merge credit report. They'll go through it, analyze it, tell you what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, what you need. If you need our services to help you, we'll do that. If not, we'll just give you some free tips and send you down the road. So that's what we're here to do.
Right on, bro. Well, I appreciate it. I know this is something that maybe not everyone finds to be sexy and important, but I know how important it is. So you and I together are going to be changing some lives, both with building credit, reports or credit profiles, and also helping. Yeah. There's a lot of people out there that just need help, repairing their credit too. And so I got you again. Give them one good place to start again. One website.
Well, just go to anthonycreditexpert.com. That's the best one. anthonycreditexpert.com, because that just ties into all of them. And just really quick too, that some of the things we can talk about in the future, because like you said, it's not sexy possibly, but it is the foundation. And I've always said, if you buy a house that's got cracks in the foundation, you want to know about that. You can't build a structure on a foundation with cracks. You can't build an empire. You can't build a skyscraper with a weak foundation. It's going to topple over. So let's just get the foundation fixed. We're not talking about 5-10 years. Sometimes we're talking about 3 to 10 months, maybe, that it takes to do that. And then boom, now you're in profit mode and you're down the road. I mean, you can still be in profit mode ahead of time, but it doesn't take that long once I get this education. We'll talk about, getting married. What about my credit? Getting divorced. What about my credit? Bankruptcy. Should I do that? What if I've already done it? What about the debt collectors that are calling me? How do I deal with that? Credit laws, identity theft, credit monitoring. Should I do this? Should I not? Like all those subjects we can go over. We've got hours of content to share with people. But once you come into my site and see those things, we'll cover all those topics and help you with anything from A to Z, whether you're a new beginner, building credit, you're fresh out of high school or a college student, right up to mom and pop, say you're retiring, and you never focused on credit before. So anywhere in between, stay-at-home moms to CEOs making $20 million a year, we can help them all.
I love it, dude. I love it. All right, dude. Well, I appreciate your time. I got to run, but appreciate you, and we will talk shortly.
All right. Thanks for having me. Take care.